Update. My greedy mother-in-law demanded I give her my late mother's house because my father told her she could part too. I arrived at my house and the cops were already talking to my father and my mother-in-law. I approached them and my father looked at me and started yelling. He called me names and called me a disgrace for calling the cops on his own family. My stepmother tried playing the victim with the cops, saying they were just visiting me and checking up on me because I was still coping with the loss of my mother. I got angry and started cursing at her for bringing up my mother. The cops, looking confused and trying to calm down the situation, asked for both of our sides privately. The officers took my father and mother-in-law for questioning, and during that time I took the time to calm myself down. I was shaking and alone. I thought I could leave in peace, but my father kept ruining it. The officer then approached me for questioning and I provided confirmation of my identity and ownership of the beach house, as well as the text messages my mother-in-law had sent and a full explanation as to why they were trying to take my property. The officers understood and were clear that they were going to take my side. One of the officers even looked disgusted when he heard the full story. What's even crazier is, despite trying to tell them to leave and warnings from the officers, it took them an hour until they finally decided to leave my property. I thanked the cops and I thought that they would learn their lesson and leave me alone. But over the past few days, they've continued to harass me with constant phone calls, threatening messages, and even attempted to get support from other relatives to pressure me into giving up my house. They continued to try to bully me into submission, but I will not fall for it. I documented everything, every call, text message, and the footage from them trying to come to my house. I decided to finally take them to court. During the trial, my lawyer provided multiple pieces of evidence of their harassment. The judge sided with me in the end. A restraining order was issued against my mother and father-in-law, prohibiting them from further attempts to contact me or go to my house. They were also ordered to pay for damages, compensating me for emotional distress. My father and I looked at each other one last time and his face filled with disappointment and anger, but I didn't care. I cried in happiness afterward while I sat in my living room. It was finally done, and I was finally at peace. I could finally restart my life, and a couple of years later, I ended up getting married. You can now check if there's a part 3 by pressing share and more.